In big news, the South Korean
Oh
president
yeah.
impeached following martial law declaration. Okay, so I'll read through it the first time. If you would like to practice shadowing or just practice your listening skills, go ahead with me now. Here we go. In a historic move, South Korea's National Assembly voted on December 14th, 2024, to impeach President Yoon Suk Yeol following his controversial declaration of martial law earlier in the month. The impeachment motion passed with a significant majority, garnering 204 votes in favor out of 300 lawmakers, including support from 12 members of Yoon's own People Power Party. The crisis began on December 3rd when President Yoon declared martial law, citing the need to address what he described as anti-state activities by opposition parties and alleged interference from North Korea. This unprecedented move in South Korea's democratic era led to widespread protests and political upheaval. Okay, so big
Mm.
news.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, we should point out we're a little bit late. We're about
Yeah,
a week late to the party, but yeah, it was all over the news, especially here in Japan. Like big deal. Yeah.
yeah, it's um, kind of an interesting article. We got some great words from this one. I think impeach.
Yeah, impeach. And this basically is like the government is almost like forcefully changed, right? Like the government is in power and everybody else is like, not anymore, you're not. And
Yeah,
then they're
but one specific
kicked
person
out,
it could
right?
be. Couldn't it?
Yeah.
They always
Or,
talk about Trump being impeached for his.
yeah. So basically, like the rest of the government gets together and be like, "Come on, mate, time to go." So I guess it's like if you committed a crime and the police arrested you and took you away, it's kind of like the political equivalent of that.
Yeah,
You do something bad, they get rid of you and take you away, basically.
yeah. And the
So,
reason why he was impeached was because he made a declaration of martial law. So, can we explain what martial law is?
well, martial law were a character in Tekken, weren't they? Like, so no,
We're
but
going back club.
yeah. But anyway, jokes aside, martial law is where basically the military steps in to take control of normal civilian life. Instead of like the police or whatever being in charge, the military come in and they kind of take charge. It's usually during an emergency or something's kicking off. So the military steps in to kind of take control. Yeah, martial law.
And a motion. So, not as in a movement, but this
Yeah.
type of motion is a little different, isn't it?
So yeah, in government and politics, a motion is like a proposal that they want to discuss or make a decision about something. So they put the idea forward as a proposal and then they discuss it or whatever. But usually it's kind of a quick thing. Like it's not something that's going to be debated for a long time. It's like, we've got a problem, let's talk about it. And they motion for something to happen, which in this case is impeachment.
Yeah. So, these are very, very serious things, serious allegations we're going over here, isn't it? So, yes, he was impeached. He is potentially going to be impeached following his controversial declaration of martial law. And the impeachment motion was passed with a significant majority. So many people wanted to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Big
yeah,
percentage. Yeah.
it's quite a strong thing to happen, I think, isn't it? You don't really hear about impeachment too much, do you? So,
No, not really. It seems to be like, well, once in a blue moon, really, isn't it? Like, obviously, something's gone off the rails for this to happen. It's not just like, oh, it's a Tuesday, let's impeach somebody. It's like something's got to have really gone wrong for this to happen. So, yeah.
to cite something. This is useful if you are studying, actually, or if you need to reference some material as a student. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe people are more comfortable with the word citation, right? Like to reference something else. But cite, as in also the spelling, CITE, not SITE, which maybe you're more comfortable with. To mention or refer to something as a reason, to reference something, basically. You know, the reason we're doing this is because of that thing. I'm citing that thing.
Yeah, definitely so.
Good one.
So,
What else we got?
The next one is unprecedented.
Oh, good word. Unprecedented. So basically, it's new. It's never been done before. It's never been experienced before. If we're talking about like inventions, an unprecedented invention is something that nobody's ever thought of before. But in this case, we're talking about a situation. It's an unprecedented situation. Nobody's really experienced it before. It's new, basically. Never before seen. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Unprecedented. It's unprecedented for Tottenham to win a cup.
Oh, waiting.
Always going to come back. Always going to come back.
Good chance for you, mate. Like I'm putting it there for you, and just waiting. Yeah, good work.
What do they say? You're getting the ball ready for me to hit out the park or something.
That's it. Yeah, teeing it up.
Teeing it up. Yeah, that's nice. Upheaval.
Upheaval. A massive change, which is very sudden, basically. Yeah. So everything changes all at once, very suddenly.
Yeah, sure. Like Chelsea's squad in that one season where Mourinho came in.
And just like get rid of everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry for all the football references if you don't know anything about football. But yeah.
Good luck.
Also, you could have upheaval if suddenly decide to move.
All right. Okay. So sorry, I lost connection there for a second.
I just was.
So upheaval, as in somebody like gets all their stuff and moves to a new place quite quickly, like move house very suddenly. Yeah, upheaval. There's a lot of upheaval in your life to do that, you know. So yeah, it's quite a versatile word because you'll hear it in a lot of different situations. But in this case, just a very sudden change that's quite drastic. It's not just like, you know, changing your toothpaste. It's like pretty big amount of change. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, upheaval is quite a useful word because you could use it quite in life if a situation occurs. I think the rest are very specific, aren't they? To maybe to law or.
I think definitely the first four. You know, impeach, martial law, motion, cite, very, very political, very, very news words. Unprecedented, I think you'll see in other areas as well, as in like, especially like marketing, you might see it as well. But upheaval, I think that's the most usable in your daily life out of this list.
Yeah, definitely so. Okay, let's go through a little bit of pronunciation. I picked out 5 words from this article on the South Korean president being impeached, and they are, repeat after me, controversial, motion, crisis, citing, and last one, era, or doesn't America say something slightly different?
Era, maybe. Yeah. I've just got visions of Mike being like era. That's something he always used to do in videos that you made with him. But yeah, I'd say era.
Okay. Spot on. There we go. So now Dan's going to read it through one more time. So let's see if any of those words have sunk in. You know, has there been upheaval in your brain? We'll find out. And also, if you want to practice shadowing, Dan's from the north of England, so you've got a different style of speech if you want to practice. So here we go.
Style's a polite way of putting it. Thank you. Right, here we go. In an historic move, South Korea's National Assembly voted on December 14th, 2024, to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol following his controversial declaration of martial law earlier in the month. The impeachment motion passed with a significant majority, garnering 204 votes in favor out of 300 lawmakers, including support from 12 members of Yoon's own People Power Party. The crisis began on December 3rd when President Yoon declared martial law, citing the need to address what he describes as anti-state activities by opposition parties and alleged interference from North Korea. This unprecedented move in South Korea's democratic era led to widespread protests and political upheaval.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Nice. Very, very smooth.
For a change.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
Well this time. Yeah.
I was surprised. Yeah. Unprecedented.
Okay, so what do you think?
Man, it's mental, isn't it? Like, it seems like nothing happened and then suddenly everything happened. The only news that were coming out of Korea was that what's his name? Johnny Somali or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
That guy being a dickhead, basically. That's all I ever heard from Korea. Then suddenly, like people are fighting, jumping over fences to get into parliament to vote against this thing. It was just mental.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, obviously we don't get enough news about the day to day in Korea, do we? So,
true.
I mean, it was a shock to me for sure. I was like, what? What is suddenly this massive upheaval
Yeah, yeah.
happening within the capital? And there were so many people, weren't there, protesting outside,
Oh
and
man, people were on the streets double quick.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
were struggling. Even some of the people, some of the what do they say? Some of the lawmakers were struggling even to get into the
That's
government.
right. They were like the military apparently were like guarding the gates. So they like went round the back, jumped over the fences to get in. And it's just like, what is this Mission Impossible thing going on? Like, I
Yeah,
mean, good for them, you know, like you've got to. One thing I think is like, I always kind of like to see, I don't like to see it, but you know, it's like when government's doing stuff they shouldn't be doing and people are on street, like protesting and stuff. I quite like the idea of people not just laying down and taking stuff, you know. And it's weird, but sometimes needs must, you know. And I think it was quite good to see like Korean people unified on the streets trying to deal with a problem in front of them. I thought that was kind of cool.
yeah, it's good. It seems there's been a lot of these situations happening in a lot of countries the last couple of years. Yeah, we had our own thing in England as
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, there's been a lot of riots or some kind of protest,
Mm.
and I think in this scenario, it's definitely a good thing, isn't it? Without knowing too much about the politics in South Korea, it sounds like they didn't want to go backwards in time. Essentially, it's the
Mm.
feeling, isn't it? So, and we don't know whether what he is saying is
Well, that's the thing. We
100%
we
true.
don't know anything, do we? Like we just see what the news tells us, and that's also kind of dangerous. But it does seem a bit dictatorial, doesn't it?
Well, maybe there is something to what he's saying. We don't know, do we? But yeah, I these days I'm questioning everything. To be honest, whatever I see on the news, whether it's true or false, you know.
In
So
it, yeah. I mean, you can. It's like somebody controls the news. There's a narrative there for them, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt these days. Yeah. So
okay, let's go to the
I did
second one.
enjoy.
Another big. Oh, sorry, please.
Quickly, I did enjoy the fact his party is called the Triple P,
Yeah,
our party. That's kind of fun to say. I
yeah.
enjoyed that.
Full power. Yeah.
It
It's
does
good.
sound like something like you remember when you were in school and like the local Christian society came round and they did like a little performance or something about how it's cool to like Jesus or something.
Mhm.
They always had stuff like people power and like all these weird little slogans. It did remind me of that a little bit. So
Is yeah,
yeah,
lots of slogans. Yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting. And if you want an extended version of these articles with a lot of vocabulary that we go over and some games to help you remember those vocabulary, check the description. There's a free PDF for you. Thank you very much, buddy. And thank
You're
you to
more
all
than
that's
welcome.
watching. I
Cheers.
will be saying see you. Ciao,
See you
ciao.
there.